Welcome to Meeting Center. Please enter your access code followed by pound. Invalid access code. Please re-enter your access code followed by pound. Invalid access code. Please re-enter your access code followed by pound.
I usually get this when I try to call Steve.
You are about to join the conference.
All right, Keith, can you hear us?
Hello.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and get started here. Good evening, everybody. For the record, it is Thursday, June 22nd, 2023, 5:15 p.m., time for the regular meeting of the Wenatchee City Council. As always, we start our meetings with a pledge to our flag, and Councilmember Hornby, if you would lead us.
Please stand. Ready? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Councilmember Hornby. As we get started, we do have two council members at the Association of Washington Cities annual convention. Councilmember Kulas and Councilmember Harold are representing us there, and Councilmember Huffaker is with us via the phone, so we have 5 council members present tonight. Our first item on the agenda is citizen comment. This is when any member of the audience can come up and we'll give you about 3 minutes, ask for your name and address for the record, and you can talk about anything that's on tonight's agenda or anything else. There's nothing on the agenda that's got a public hearing item, so we'll just accept the public comment at the start of the meeting for any item that's on tonight's agenda or not. Come on up. We'll need your name and address for the record and your social security number and your passport.
Right, my banking account information.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Eunice Yeomans. I am at 18 North Wenatchee Ave. I'm the executive director of the Chelan Douglas Land Trust. So as you all know, for 20 years, we have been working together to conserve and protect. Now it's about 3,500 acres of land, as well as 25 miles of recreational trails in the Wenatchee foothills. We never anticipated when we started this 20 years ago the explosion in popularity those trails would have, both in terms of attracting businesses and people to live here, in terms of it's an important part of the quality of life that we offer here, but also attracting so many visitors from other places. So it's a picture of the balsam route at the foothills that are on the brochures and the billboards in downtown Seattle, drawing people to Chelan County. So just one sort of data point is I was at Horse Lake a couple of weeks ago. I counted between 10 and noon, I counted 237 people recreating at Horse Lake. We could never have anticipated that. 3/4 of those people were not from here. So when we started this together, we said that the Chelan Douglas Land Trust said, we just need to protect the land and we're going to take care of it forever. We raised a bunch of money. What's left in that account is about $1.5 million. We pull from that account about 4 to 5% a year, depending on what that is. Last year it was $70,000. Our cost to maintain the foothills last year was $400,000. So you can see that this is not a sustainable path. So I just wanted to let you all know that we are out there working and we want to continue working and we're committed to working. But just hoping that you could help identify a more sustainable funding path for us.
Thank you. And is there an audit going on inside your books to sort of figure out, look at that number a little bit closer?
Yeah, so one of the problems was our accounting system was like, the original accounting system when we all started, and it was 2 people and we were super excited. We were throwing money in a pot. So we actually hired basically a forensic accountant to come in and rebuild our accounting system so that we can track our expenses. So we're looking at that, and I think actually the expenses could probably be less if things hadn't changed so much in terms of just the cost of wood is more, everything is more, but also I think we need people out there monitoring the trails, not all the time, but on certain busy seasons, so that would add additional cost. I mean, there's just tons of people out there. I don't know how recently you all have been out there, but it's bananas.
Okay, so we have talked about a little bit at Finance Committee, and we'll talk about it again and get back to you in the next couple of weeks.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Eunice. Anybody else wish to address the city council on something that's on tonight's agenda or not? Snyder, you can't sit back there by yourself and not come up and address us on something. I mean, you can't be here for just fun. Oh, that's impossible. Come on up, sir.
Kind of a safety issue.
Your name, please?
Jason Sundstrom. I live on Lynn Street in South Wenatchee.
Okay.
We're on the detour for Crawford Street, and it's kind of become a safety issue. The traffic is that people on the detour still think that
They
they're
go
on
50, yeah.
Yeah, it's really bad. And everybody's doing what they can. Hearst has been good and the police have been good, but I mean, we don't have the signage. Hearst says that they have to go to the city to get approval to put more signs out. But we could use some more speed limit signs, maybe some,
Chief, you got the radar one we can put out there? The little
apparently
blinking?
the radar sign has, Wenatchee doesn't have one.
Well, we've got something that's close.
We've got the trailer, but
Yeah.
the trailer doesn't work. It was broken into and the wiring was ripped out of it.
We got more than one trailer.
We've got two, but one is in the repair shop, the other one, the wiring was ripped out, so Officer Ruiz told me that we don't have one. He was gonna try to borrow one from East Wenatchee. So,
The chief's right over there, so if he tells me he can
Oh.
find one, he can find one.
so, if we could get that like tonight, would be
I don't know
good.
if it'll be tonight, but we will, I think we can effort to have something in there by next week. Chief, can we have something there by next week?
Tomorrow?
I don't know if tomorrow's not next week.
Um,
As
we
soon as we can.
have so many
Yeah.
people have been
Yeah.
almost hit by cars because, we don't have sidewalks.
Right.
We're half the width of Crawford,
Yeah.
and we've got link buses,
You got
waste
everything going through
management
there.
trucks. Everybody's going to the transfer station. People are doing 35, 40 miles an hour.
Yeah.
We're in a school zone, which we're normally, 20 miles an hour.
Yeah.
We don't have any speed limit signs. They're blowing through the stop signs like they don't exist. The police patrol, but when they're in the column of cars with the cars,
Yeah.
the cars go the same speed limit, so,
So we will get a radar sign there next week, and Chief knows, because he's right there, that if we can get another patrol vehicle out there to sort of watch and help people, and if there's some signs we can put up, we'll certainly do that. Rob, you got that on your little list? Yeah. Okay,
yeah, and, pop the speed, or the people going through the stop signs, that would be good, because they're just, like, they're not even there. Sidewalks, we were supposed to get sidewalks a long time ago, because we're in a school zone.
yeah.
The kids walk right up the middle of the street.
Okay, we'll see if we can take care of this little speeding issue here and get some of the stuff you've asked for in the next week.
Okay, and Link and Hearst, I just want to say that they've done a really great job. I contacted both of them. They've slowed the buses down. Hearst is doing everything.
Hearst does a great job.
They're doing a great job. I just wanted to say that they're doing everything they can.
And how long is that project supposed to last, Rob, do you remember?
2 weeks? We were told up to 2 weeks,
Okay.
so till the 5th, I believe.
All right, we'll see what we can do.
Yeah, we're really close to having an accident, so we really need some help out there.
Okay, thanks, Jason.
All right, thank you.
Yep. Anybody else wish to address the council on anything that's on tonight's agenda or not? See no other takers. We have our consent items this evening and then a presentation, so the consent items includes a motion to approve today's agendas, vouchers, and minutes from previous meetings, and a couple of contracts and some meeting changes. So I would entertain a motion if we had one.
Your Honor, I'll make a motion to approve the agenda, vouchers, and minutes from previous meetings. Also motion to accept the work performed by the contractor Hearst Construction LLC on the Saddle Rock Natural Area Phase 2, interim action project and to authorize the mayor to sign the final contract voucher. Motion to approve resolution number 2023-15, revising the regular meeting schedule for the November and December 2023.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Hornby, second by Councilmember Cuevas to approve this evening's agenda, vouchers, and the minutes from our meetings. Motion to accept the work performed by the contractor Hearst Construction LLC on the Saddle Rock Natural Area Phase 2 Interim Remedial Action Project, and to authorize the mayor to sign the final contract voucher. And a motion to approve resolution number 2023-15, revising the regular meeting schedule for November and December of 2023. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. We have our presentation tonight regarding some fantastic work from our code enforcement group. So code enforcement group, and Glenn, come on up.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of the council. Just wanted to take a moment to thank our city team members who work on neighborhood abatement efforts for nuisances and health safety issues. It's a lot of work, and it only successful because of the team effort. We have our two code enforcement officers, Kevin Kinman and Eric Mudgett, if you don't mind.
Kevin,
standing
Eric,
up real
come up
quick,
here.
or come up. And in addition, not here tonight is our code enforcement coordinator, Yolanda Garcia, and our city code enforcement board members. We actually have Jim Snyder, who can stand up. Thank you. And so appreciate all their efforts for appointed board members who volunteer their time once a month. Additionally, we have our city legal team. Steve Smith's here, Danielle Marchant, and her other team members who provide assistance getting through the court system when we do abatements. The Wenatchee Police Department is instrumental in assisting and partnering with us on these efforts, in addition to our Parks Maintenance Department, which frequently we partner with on these efforts. We have some recent significant examples that we wanted to just briefly show you.
These are some wild pictures if you haven't seen them yet. Have you seen these?
Can you see them?
We're gonna see them when you show them to us.
Well,
I've
it's
seen
up
them,
on my
so-
computer.
Right now, we're looking at the 416 Walker Avenue in red. There we
Yep,
go.
yep, so that's it.
Oh,
So,
gotta
you
flip
know,
it. Gotta go one more time. It was there, then it left.
I know,
There we go.
this is where I'm starting this
Okay.
right here. This is the
Okay.
beginning of it. So 416 Walker Avenue was one of the properties that we've had cases on for 2 years. And the guy that owned the home, he was on hospice care, and he had a lot of homeless people that were coming in and living with him, and they were chopping vehicles there, and it was constant work for us to try to keep that property clean, and it's right across the street from a park, so it was important. And we worked with the police, and we worked with our attorneys to clean up that property. And every time we got close, then there's a new owner. VA owns it, or it got repoed, the owner passed away, and then we got to start the whole thing over. And finally, I was over there looking, and I saw these pictures that you can see here. On the left-hand side, that wet mark is where they're dumping their urine buckets out of the house. So I started looking, and there's no water, there's no power, there's no electricity. And so I was speaking with Danielle and asked her if we could do an unlawful to occupy there, and she showed us how to word all of that and posted the house. And this is when they were doing the chief for the day stuff over at the park. We're standing over there, just posted the house, and I see a plume of smoke and the fire trucks running. Well, they started the house on fire after I posted it. So I was able to get up and go in and take some pictures. You can see the garbage and rubbish just in the driveway here. On the picture on the right's the front yard. I called the police, they came over there, and they did a search of the house to make sure no one was in it. And so after we got it posted and everything, I contacted a contractor that we work with all the time and said, this is an emergency, can you come out and help me clean this up on a Friday morning? And they came out, but this is the backyard. This is inside the house in the right-hand picture. You can see that on the left picture where they started the fire there. It kind of burned into the house, and you can see in these pictures, this is kind of where the fire department busted up the walls and stuff to put out the fire. That's the lovely kitchen, and it was the house was full of feces, the yard was full of feces, and lots of garbage. And So I made them put on some Tyvek suits, some gloves, and some masks, and go in and clean this up. It took a day and a half to get it all cleaned up. I really appreciate everybody that helped us get this property cleaned up. People are using the park again. The whole street is just different with it all cleaned up. Here's some after pictures. We have 3 or 4 homes like this that we're working on right now that are constant cases for us. 731 Arando is one of those cases that I've already done an abatement case on them. And it was last November. And then, so you can see the junk cars and the vehicles. They've had motor homes full of garbage there. Side yard, backyard. And I've been there 3 times doing, we're on our 3rd contempt order at this property. They re-violate about every 30 days, and it's a lot of garbage. 816 South Chelan Avenue, we've had 11 code violations there in 2 years. I've abated it once. I've had 3 contempt order abatements. 64 law enforcement calls for service from 2020 to 2023. He decided to call in and complain that I was harassing him. And so we're still working with him. We're going to meet with him on his property at some point in time. But you can see these cases that this isn't harassment. This is garbage and rubbish like crazy. When I was there cleaning the property the first time, someone was living in that little tin shed there on the right-hand side. A guy and a gal were living in there. The basement's basically been condemned. There's no electricity. It's full of water, but they keep having people live in there too. I went back 2 months later on the left-hand side, 8 months later after the first abatement on the right-hand side. 13 months later, contempt of court. Drove by there yesterday. It's getting there again, but we're gonna kind of wait. We're gonna meet with the guy. I think Glenn, you're gonna go, and Cliff and I and Kevin, and go talk to him. So that was a quick version of that. We appreciate all your guys' support, the police and the attorneys.
So those
Really
ones
helps
where
a
you're
lot.
abating all the time, we're just keep leaning the property and
We
adding
do.
to our liens?
We do, yeah. And we've had numerous in the last year and a half sell, and the abatement fund gets
Pumped back up
replenished a
again.
little bit, yeah.
And we appreciate the council's support on, providing the abatement funds to do these projects. And, as homes sell and foreclosures happen, we get some of that money back, but it does take an outlay of abatement funds to do
And
these
it takes a
efforts.
case obviously worse than those last 2 or 3 that we saw that allow Danielle and the legal team to get in and say, clean.
Yeah, and
They
I
don't-
work,
they don't get
I
bad
work with
enough
them
yet
almost
to-
on a daily basis. We have a lot of contact with the legal team, making sure it's all done correctly and as quickly as possible. And it's still, some of them take a year
Yeah.
before I can get an order to abate. A contempt order, 30 to 45 days typically. So it's still, if you guys have any questions, if you see stuff that you want us to work on, feel free to let us know.
So now you know how important having code enforcement. I mean, there's been times when I've been mayor where we had 0 code enforcement, and there's been times when we've had 1, and there's been times when we've had 2, and now we have 3 people working on it, both of the 2 gentlemen and then Yolanda. So they can go out and try to keep our city as clean as possible. So congratulations, guys. Thanks to Steve and Danielle and the team for allowing that Walker Street property to get cleaned up, and now you see the things they do every single day. And maybe it'll be time, I don't know. I did this once a number of years ago where we got a little tour with some of our code enforcement people on a Thursday, on a work session time where you drive around and show us some of the stuff. Might be interesting this summer to
Be happy to do so.
take a peek.
Right.
All right,
you
thanks,
very
Glenn,
much.
appreciate it. Thanks, gentlemen.
Thank you.
All right, we have 4 action items this evening. The first being an appointment to the Arcs Recreation and Parks Commission. Mr. Erickson?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Council. Dave Erickson, Parks and Recreation Director for the City of Wenatchee. This evening, we're requesting approval of Resolution 2023-14, which would reappoint our rock star student Arts Rec and Park Commissioner, Megan Casabomb, to the commission.
Is she here?
Megan is here.
Hi,
come
Megan,
on
how
up.
are you? Come on up.
Megan
You have a
joined
better
us
chance of getting voted in if you come up.
Yeah, she joined us in January. She is an awesome commissioner, provides great feedback and input on everything that we do, and we're really lucky to have her, so we'd recommend her reappointment.
Megan, you want to say anything to us?
Sure, I'll say a bit.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Megan Casabom. I'm going to be a senior at Wenatchee High School, and I'm just so thankful I've had this chance to be on the commission. I've learned so much. I'm still getting up to speed, but it's so awesome to see the community government and just see there's so many opportunities in the area and possible career fields. And I'm just so grateful for this experience, and I hope I get reappointed again. So thank you.
Great, thank you, Megan. All right, who wants to make the motion?
Oh, go ahead. Oh, I'll make a motion for the city council to approve resolution number 2023-14, reappointing Megan Cassabaum, AKA Rockstar, to the Arts, Recreation, and Parks Commission.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Poyer, second by Councilmember Hornby, to adopt resolution 2023-14, reappointing Megan Cassabaum to the Arts, Recreation, and Parks Commission. Any discussion?
Just a comment. Thanks for being young and getting involved.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Megan, appreciate your work. Stay involved in your community for the rest of your life, all right?
All right, well
All
done.
right, thank you. All right, Alyssa, project SW 2308, small remodel over at Public Works.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Alyssa Schaefer, Facilities Manager for the Public Works Department. In preparation for the sale of the former police station building, the city will need to make arrangements for services the building currently provides. So while the majority of the building is vacated, the building does continue to function as a shop facility for the Facilities Department. The plan is to relocate the facilities shop into 2 garage bays in the existing buildings at the Public Works facility on McKittrick, with some modifications to the space. The modifications through project number SW 2308 will add a partial second floor, allowing for additional storage and work areas in the area. Through the Small Works roster, this project went out to bid with 2 bidders responding. Halmy Bidders Incorporated out of Davenport, Washington was the lowest responsive bidder with the price of $100,000 plus tax. It is staff's recommendation that the city council authorize the mayor to award the project to Halmy Builders Incorporated and sign the construction contract.
So any questions for Alyssa? Obviously, we're getting our maintenance group out of the bottom of the building, and then we'll be able to get that sold hopefully later this year, or the first part of next year.
Right,
Halmy won't take very long, just
this fall, it'll be complete.
okay.
Yep,
Yeah.
it's a quick project.
And they'll move out, and we'll be able to get that building listed and sold, and, so. Any questions for Alyssa? If not, I would entertain a motion.
Your Honor, I'll make a motion for City Council to authorize the mayor to award project number SW 23-08 and authorize the mayor to sign the construction contract with Halmy Builders, Inc. for $100,000 plus tax.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Rojanostatian, second by Councilmember Hornby, to authorize the mayor to award project number SW 23-08 and authorize the mayor to sign a construction contract with Halmy Builders, Inc. for $100,000 plus Washington State sales tax. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Thanks, Alyssa.
Thank you.
Parking. Who's doing parking? Is that Laura?
Good evening, Council. Laura Gloria, Executive Services Director. The item before you is ordinance 2023-07, amending a couple of sections of our code related to parking, which I'll explain here in a second. So this all sort of started from a letter from the Downtown Association early this year asking for us to change the parking time limits in the downtown core. Currently, it's 3 hours. They asked to reduce that down to 2 hours. The request was to help with turnover. There's lots of folks who are maybe overstaying their time, or there's been issues where employees are parking there long-term. So the hope is to change it down to 2 hours to have it still be accessible for folks who want to come in downtown, have a bite to eat, do a little shopping. But again, it's supposed to keep that turnover going in for all the stores downtown. So we started to look into that, and then at the same time, we started to look at all of our parking codes, and in an effort to streamline them, we also have some additional recommendations in this ordinance. The first one is to give the Public Works Director, in consultation with the Chief of Police and as approved by the Mayor, the ability to make future changes to parking limits. Right now, we would come to City Council with an ordinance or resolution that can be a little clunky sometimes to keep track of them. It can also take a little extra time, and when there are safety needs, we need to be able to move with that quickly. But doing that with an approval by the mayor, make sure that we're still communicating with the city council, especially if it's something that relates to your districts. And then the other piece of it was, we currently don't have the
Invalid selection.
ability to cite vehicles in bike lanes. So caught that, let's throw that in there, let's get it all done at one time. So those are the three components from a code perspective that are in the ordinance. The Downtown Association, unfortunately Rosa couldn't make it today, but they're really gonna take the lead on messaging to the downtown businesses, providing them tools on how to, ask that their businesses ask their employees to park in the lots versus using the street, kind of pushing the guest first, customer first messaging that, we want to keep those spaces free for people who are coming and buying stuff from your shops. Please, move your employees to the public lots, or there are lots of private lots that could be available for rental as well. So again, just providing that messaging, that overall change to, or just support of doing that. And what we've talked about is that paired with the ordinance and then paired with enforcement overall will help hopefully, reduce some of that ongoing pressure on the downtown parking area. So I think that is everything, but I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Laura? I know we're a little different than we thought it might go. Mike?
No, I get a lot of calls.
And I just
Go ahead,
I just
Keith.
want to weigh in if I can. It was the Downtown Association that came to us originally and asked us to extend it to 3 hours, trying to give people time to have a nice meal and have time to shop without having to worry about moving their car. So I like the idea that we're going to give the mayor's office the ability to change this in certain areas if we need to change it down the road. But I really do think the big thing that needs to be addressed is employee parking.
Thank you, Keith. Mike?
Perfectly said.
Okay. Travis, anything to add?
So, the downtown, we asked them to go to work and try to educate and inform that the downtown needs to do some work as well before we make this code. So they have done everything that we have asked them to do as a council. I sit on the Downtown Association. They were pretty passionate about this in one of our meetings, but I held the ground from all the council members of, we really need this to go out to your constituents. You run all kinds of agendas, all kinds of missions, all kinds of things that support the downtown. We would like you to do this as well. And it's more of an education of, hey, you can put in your leases requirements that staff don't park in the downtown core. You can put in all of those things that help move this needle. So they've done those things, and I'm in support of this, especially if you loop in the council members where that parking enforcement change will happen, so that we're not blindsided by our constituents.
All right. Anything else to add? If not, I would entertain a motion.
Your Honor, I'll make a motion for ordinance number 2023-07, amending the ordinance number 2012-30, section 3, code as Wenatchee City Code 6B .06.024 as it relates to the parking in the downtown core area, presented by Executive Service Director Laura Gloria and the Public Works Director Rob Jemmerman.
Second.
Got a motion by Councilmember Hornby, a second by Councilmember Poyer to adopt ordinance, and there's two different numbers in here. Which one do we want us to use?
Oh,
37 or 30? What's that?
07.
The one I did, the top one.
Okay. To adopt ordinance 2023-07, amending ordinance 2020-12-30, section 3, codified as Wenatchee City Code 6B06.002.4 as it relates to parking in the downtown core area. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Chief, any update on parking enforcement?
Closes tomorrow.
Okay. Do we have some applications?
We have a ton.
What's that?
We have a ton of that.
Oh, did, okay, good. Thank you. And the last on our action items tonight is cause for celebration. So this is for those that have been in the trenches for quite a period of time on the Apple Capital Loop set of projects, specifically Confluence Parkway. I told you earlier in this year, there was about 4 things we needed to get done, and this is the 4th of those things. So Laura, why don't you present before we put on our party hats and celebrate? So
Yes, I'll put on my hat.
We gotta make sure we get a yes vote, so.
Yeah, I didn't want to pre-celebrate if that wasn't the will. So yes, thank you. The item before you is the consideration of the Apple Capital Loop term sheet, infra term sheet. So the city of Wenatchee received the infra grant in June of 2021. Since that time, we've been working on the term sheet. And what it is, you know, when we applied for the money, they looked at all of the information that we put in there from transportation studies and what we think it might look like and kind of the concept, and here's the studies that we've done. But the term sheet really codifies that into, and here's when we're going to do it, here's the times that's going to take, here's how we're going to do all of the scope, budget, milestones. And so all of that are the discussions that have been happening over the last 18 months. It's been a pretty big lift for the Public Works Department, but there's lots of agencies that are also involved. So there's Federal Highways, WashDOT, U.S. Department of Transportation. So it's not just a local term sheet. It goes through the various different departments and agencies. And so there was multiple levels of reviews and questions. Again, just verifying what the city's plan was and that they're ensuring that we can deliver what we said we were going to deliver. We also had a lot of help from our legislative offices, from, you know, Senator Murray's office, from a lot of our Congress people to help push the term sheet along. You know, there's lots of different priorities, and we wanted to make sure that ours was at the top. So again, special thanks to those agencies. So again, the term sheet is really, if you've taken a look at it, it's an outline of the different components that we're supposed to deliver as part of the infra program. So that's Confluence Parkway North, and then the pedestrian bridge are the 2 big components. There are also the matching projects, which are funded through Connecting Washington, but those are still sort of the package that we submitted. So that's incorporated into this as well, since that's what we applied for and said we would deliver as part of our application. So with that, I might pass it off to Rob to talk a little bit more about what happens next if it's approved.
Thanks, Laura. Rob Jammerman, Public Works Director. I wanted to add on to what Laura was mentioning. So tonight's a big night, but special thanks goes out to Gary Owen, who has retired, but we actually have him under contract. So he's been, you may not know it, but he's been off in the back helping Jake and helping move this along. So he did a lot of the heavy lifting prior to December of this year. Jake Lewing, a new city engineer, he probably spends 7 hours every day working on this project. Of course, Laura, huge help, and then the mayor for making those calls back to DC and up to the state office. And so we just to give you a snapshot of where we are at. We have Jacobs KPG under contract as our owner's advisor. That is, again, that's a multi-million-dollar contract to have them help us. They have multitude of staff advancing the project. We are approved to deliver the project as a design build project. So it's not your bid, it's not your design bid build project, it's design build, which no other city in the state of Washington has done that for a linear transportation project other than like your large Department of Transportation. So we'll be the first city. We've received a lot of accolades about how we're handling this by having Jacobs on board helping us and just moving along. We have the statement of qualifications advertised for our design builder. Those are supposed to be in next Monday or Tuesday. We'll then evaluate those. And what that means is we'll be getting these national firms that will come together with like a Flatiron. These big companies that you see building freeway projects will come in, they'll team up with a designer, and they'll try to get this project. And we'll have anywhere from probably 3 to 5 SOQs come in next week. We'll spend the next 2 weeks evaluating and scoring those, and then make our final decision on July 7th. I should say, our shortlist decision. So on July 7th, we'll take those 3 to 5 and we'll whittle it down to 3, and we'll tell them that they made the cut to move forward to what we call the request for proposal, RFP. They'll then go off and they'll spend about the next 2 months putting together their proposal and come back to us in September with their proposal to take the project on. And then from that, we'll then take their SOQ scores and their RFP scores, combine them, and one firm will then rise to the top to then be under contract. And then in October, we'll then negotiate the contract for them to start. We have to have this, so this term sheet then allows us to move into that contract with the design builder, and we have to have the contract signed to meet what we call our obligation date. And so we had to have our money, this 92 million has to be fully obligated by September of 2024. If you know, as you've been here on council, if you know just even a simple roundabout how long it takes, we're putting this $92 million project, which will soon be 200 million when we add on the Move Ahead Washington money. We're pushing that first part into this little tiny window of months. And so it's been remarkable to see what's happened, but not without a lot of pushing the ball forward. So that's about where we're at. I do want to go on record that I did lose the bet to Laura. I told her we would not have the term sheet tonight, and she took that bet, so I owe her. So I want to go on record that I will pay. So with that, are there any questions?
I do want to add one more thing to Rob's point is the schedule is so condensed that we have been trying to push along everything that we can so that as soon as we have some sort of approval, we can get going. You know, you guys approved we had the authorized construction, the advanced construction contract approved earlier this year,
Yes.
early last year. And the day we got that signed, we got the agreement with Jacobs to get going the next day. So we have been really pushing what we can at that point in time to really get things moving. And this term sheet just helps expedite that so much faster, because now that the federal government has said, okay, we see the project, we understand what it's gonna look like now, it's gonna be that much easier when we go through the rest of this process to say, we'd like our money now, please, and can we start getting some payments back, so, yeah.
We've been writing checks that Brad says we can cover, but he'll be able to start getting reimbursed.
Yeah.
So.
Any questions for staff? If not, why don't we start with a motion and a second, and then we can vote, and then I've got a few things I want to say too, and we can get on our little party hats, so. Somebody want to
Your Honor,
do a motion?
I'll make a motion for City Council to authorize the mayor to execute the term sheet between the City of Wenatchee and the U.S. Department of Transportation, providing for the reimbursement of costs incurred with the design and construction of project 2201.1 Confluence Parkway South, 2201.2 South End Pedestrian Bike Access Bridges.
Second. Sorry. You get a second over there? All right. Got a motion by Councilmember Rojanostati and second by Councilmember Cuevas to authorize the mayor to execute the term sheet between the City of Wenatchee and US DOT, providing for the reimbursement of costs incurred with the design and construction of projects 2201.1 Confluence Parkway South and 2201.2 South End Ped Bike Access Bridges. So I'm gonna say just a couple words because I can, because I'm the mayor, right? I get to say things every so often. So, your team has been working really hard on this for a long, long time. So congratulations to Rob and Gary and Jake. And if you back up far enough, and you guys will remember this, you won't remember this, you'll remember. There was a time 3 years ago when all the experience in the room left, right? Allison left, Gary left, Steve King left, then Shales left, and left it with Laura, who just basically said, I guess this is my project. And here we are 3 years later, and so congratulations to you, thank you, and Rob, and those guys for putting in a ton of work to make this happen. So we're super fortunate to have department heads that do really incredible work, and those two deserve congratulations. So let's do a vote, and then we can get on our hats, okay? All those in favor of the motion, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Woo! Oh, they don't make
Oh, I was
noise.
thinking,
I know, they don't make noise.
Oh. All right,
Woo.
you want me to come down and sign it?
wow,
So we're breaking protocol. I'm gonna sign it in front of everybody.
I like it.
You want me to use one of these, buddy?
We all wanted noise.
Man,
Happy birthday, Mike.
We do one of the ones where I just do the F and the different pens. And
Like kids here.
You know?
Perfect.
What's that?
And then we'll sing happy birthday to Mike.
I'm not gonna sing.
Steve's head's a little too big for a hat.
Who wants it?
You did it, 'cause
It's Mike Boyer's birthday week. He turned 60 earlier this week.
Yeah,
So I
dual purpose.
All right, mayor's report. I don't have a lot. Obviously, with respect to the Confluence Parkway, when the start of the year, we had 4 things needed to accomplish, and that just completed the 4th one, in terms of we've got our agreement with the PUD, we've got the money in the Moviehead Washington in the right spot, with the right name, all that done, and now the term sheet, so we are full go-ahead on Confluence Parkway. Obviously, there's been quite a bit of news at the Town Toyota Center with the Wenatchee Wild switching to the Western Hockey League. That is a big thing for hockey in our valley and for the Town Toyota Center. So it was explained to me the difference between AA baseball and AAA baseball. I think it's a little bit further advanced, but a number of people that will be playing for the Wenatchee Wild next year will be on an NHL team the year after. That's how fast they move up. There'll be one number 1 draft pick in the NHL and maybe 2 number 1 first round draft picks in the NHL playing for the Wenatchee Wild next year. So Branda Hockey is going to pick up. They've sold 110 new season tickets since the announcement was made last week. So that's a big thing for the building. And I am the president of the board, and we've got a new 10-year contract with David White, who owns the Wenatchee Wild, about 6 months ago or 5 months ago. We didn't know for sure that he was going to be doing this, but obviously those 2 things have come together. So a lot of excitement in that building. Laura, anything else to help me with?
We've got a work session scheduled for August 17th. So for right now, we have on the agenda the Wenatchee Convention Center update. It's been a while since we touched base on that, and so that'll let you know where we are in design development, latest update, next steps kind of thing. So that'll be scheduled for the 17th.
And we don't meet for a while, so don't forget we have 4th of July coming up. So that will be taking place at the Walla Walla Point Park. So if you're out and about, and Chief, you've got all the stuff figured out for that, policing and all that? Thank you. And we don't meet again until, this is one of the 3 weeks off, so we don't meet again until July the 13th, according to my calendar. Council members, anything to add?
I will be attending the Chelan Douglas Homeless Task Force next Wednesday.
Okay. Mr. Poyer, anything from you?
Nope.
Bob? Travis?
I got 2 things. I attended the WA Possibilities Tour. We kind of circled some of the lineage buildings. We came up to the downtown core. A lot of opportunity out there. New wine bar opening on, First and Wenatchee Avenue on the corner there. So that'll be fun to patronize. And then June 30th, we have been supporting Wenatchee Valley Tread. They're doing a collaboration with Hellbent Brewery. They're coming out with their own beer. They are having a celebration on June 30th, so put that in your
The
calendar.
last thing Matt Lyons needs is a beer named after
So
him.
it's a luau party because the owner of Hellbent's from Hawaii, so come down, get your luau on. They'll have mixed drinks as well as non-alcohol and celebrate the collaboration for recreation in our community.
That's the 30th. At what time are they doing that?
I think it starts in the evening. There's food as well, so Hawaiian themed food. I think it starts around 4 or 5. Don't know the exact time, but the 30th in the evening, Friday. Come on down there, listen to live music. Also check out our convention center. Local event center. Got that in there.
Yeah, you did. Mr. Huffaker, anything to add?
Nothing from me.
All right. With that, again, congratulations to staff. We are adjourned. We'll see you on the 13th, if not sooner.